Performing was my dream. The Spice Girls made me accept who I am. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. That uncool kid at school that's awkward, that was me. But I desperately wanted to be liked, have a sense of worth.
Fashion designer and former Spice Girl Victoria Beckham is sharing a more open and vulnerable side in her new self-titled Netflix documentary. While the usually stoic-faced superstar is known for her sleek fashion looks and sky-high heels, the designer's extraordinarily slim frame has been called into question over the years, with media outlets accusing the mom of four of being dangerously thin.
But now Victoria speaking out on body image while dealing with the pressures of Hollywood, saying this: I had no control over what was being written about me, pictures that were being taken, and I wanted to control it. I could control it with my clothing, and I could control my weight. And I was controlling it in an incredibly unhealthy way. She goes on to say, when you have an eating disorder, you become very good at lying. I was never honest with it about my parents. I never talked about it publicly.
The National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders states that 28.8 million Americans will have an eating disorder in their lifetime, with 15% of women suffering from an eating disorder by their 40s or 50s, but only 27% receiving any treatment for it. Here to discuss body image, eating disorders, and ways to help someone you know or even you get the help they need is internal medicine physician and founder of CETA Med, Dr. Lipi Roy. Dr. Roy, thanks so much for being here. I think this is something that a topic that kind of wanes and waxes in popularity, and I think a lot of people say, oh, you're so vain. Why are you worried about your weight? You're worried so much about how you look. Or they kind of laugh it off, not realizing this is a serious disorder. And you know, women who are anorexic or bulimic, they can look at themselves in the mirror, and what they see is not what everyone else sees. They'll look at themselves in the mirror and perceive that they are 30 pounds heavier than they actually are in real life. So let's just explain how serious this is. A lot of people, I think, almost laugh it off.
Katrina, you're absolutely right. First of all, I applaud Victoria Beckham for openly talking about what she's experienced with eating disorders. To be very clear, you're absolutely right. Eating disorders are a serious psychiatric illness that's characterized by disturbances in body image and eating behaviors. It is not a sign of moral weakness or failing. You know, and all the different stressors, pressure that someone like Victoria Beckham faced, it affects your genetics, your biology, your psychology. It can be very, very serious. And in fact, and there's several types, including anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa, and purge eating, which are binge eating, which those are the most common. And as you pointed out, it affects women almost double the rates of men. But honestly, eating disorders affects all genders at all ages. It develops mostly during adolescence and young adulthood. But the good news is that actually treatment is available. But it starts with destigmatizing by talking about it, like Victoria is.
Dr. Roy, I'm glad you pointed out people of all ages, because young and old, you know, I think everyone is concerned about their looks and their perception of it, regardless if, you know, you're in your 30s or up into your 70s and 80s. You know, everyone wants to feel good about themselves, regardless of age. So talk about, if you think you've got an issue, I don't care who you are, what your advice would be to them.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a health problem. It is not a sign of moral weakness or failure. And unfortunately, we do live in a society where we are judged. So what I would recommend for people, if you recognize habits either in yourself or other people that you care about, identify those symptoms and get help. Even just ask your doctor or a counselor. If you're at school, the guidance counselor, get help. And their help is available. It's medications, it's psychotherapy, it's counseling, but it's really a multidisciplinary approach. Medical, psychological, nutritional, rehab, all of those things. It can really work, but people need to get help. Because I got to point out, anorexia has one of the highest rates of suicide among all psychiatric disorders. It's really serious, but the good news is people can get help. Help is available.
And I also think what Victoria Beckham pointed out is that it was the only thing she felt she could control at a very chaotic time in her life. And I mean, full disclosure, I suffered from an eating disorder for many, many years, modeling at a young age and working in fashion for many years. And it was a struggle. I mean, there were certain times I was so anxious that I wouldn't even leave my room because I was like, I'm so humongous that I can't possibly go in public. And it's very hard because, again, the reaction you get from people is, oh, you're so vain, you're too concerned with what you look like. It was a whole different thing. And I'm very lucky that I did get help that is out there. And that's the thing. Like, if you're suffering from this, you can get help. You don't need to suffer in silence. And again, it's not a stigma upon an individual.
Right.
And again, this can happen to men and women as well.
Absolutely.
Again, men are not, left out of
No,
this really
they are
difficult
not.
thing.
In fact, when I was a doctor at Mass General Hospital in Boston, one of the first patients I took care of was a man in his 30s who struggled with eating disorders.
Right.
It was very severe. But thank you for sharing your story too.
Yeah, no, and thank you for breaking it down for us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The pressure society puts upon us, it's real.
Yeah,
stuff.
and that we put upon ourselves
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
Dr. Roy, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.